Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I'm going to talk about the subject of hardcore fandom. And mainly this video, earlier this week, I filmed a video talking about the whole, 13th Doctor quote-unquote controversy, it being a whole thing. But to me that's just kind of there have been multiple examples of it, but it's just to me it's one of those situations where a hardcore fandom kind of going too far just because a show is changing in a different way, which the same point I made in that video is the show is always constantly reinventing itself with every new Doctor that kind of gets introduced into the show. How is this any different? I never really elaborate too much, but the fact of the matter is we haven't even seen what Jodie Whittaker can do as a Doctor, what kind of Doctor she will be. We literally got a teaser trailer. That's it. She literally won't pop up until the tail end of the Christmas special, and even then we'll probably won't get a real sense of who she is as a Doctor until the 11th season / 11th series won't, hopefully will be coming out sometime in 2018. So it's kind of hold your horses before you even see anything. All you saw was a trailer and you're acting like that. Because I get it. It comes from a good place because you love something, but at the same time I feel like people let that kind of get in their head too much. Someone recently, I forgot who it was, kind of put in a very good way, and I'm sure other people have said the same thing, but it's some people feel like they're not necessarily entitled to something, but because they love something so much, because they're so passionate about something, they feel like they own it, and it's they should be the ones to be able to dictate something, which in some cases, sure, because a series is tailored by the fans, so it should be oh yeah, this is for the fans, so the fans should have some hearsay on certain things, but at the same time, even that's kind of, for me, it's the creator's vision. Whether it's a new person coming to something, making some changes, or whether it's just someone who's been a part of a show for a long time making changes. Because the fact of the matter is, Doctor Who's been around for a very, very long time. They're entitled to change things up. I didn't know this at the time. This is something I've heard. Basically, they're also switching up showrunners and stuff like that. So once again, that's fine. Everyone adds their own little bit of something to each show. Something else I recently learned: the original creator of Doctor Who was yeah, it'd be kind of cool later on at some point down the line to make Doctor Who a lady. So like I said, it's not like this hasn't been a long time coming. So if it wasn't now, you would have gotten a female Doctor at some point. It's so mind-blowing that such a trivial thing as a character becoming a lady is such a big deal. To me, it's you hating on a Doctor becoming a lady is the same thing as you're saying, oh, so you're saying every other female companion sucked or something? Because there have been a lot of leading ladies in the show, but it's just the whole thing. I just don't, I said, I get it, because I have my tendencies of being like that. One example is, at this point in time I've not seen Spider-Man Homecoming at the time I'm recording this, but way before, when they were announcing casting and stuff like that, when Zendaya was told to be possibly playing a Mary Jane role, some people got in a tizzy no, that's wrong. It's not even necessarily, that in itself turns into a whole situation of a race issue, but to me as a fan of Spider-Man, I get it, because it's you're so, you're Mary Jane is a redhead, I grew up watching Spider-Man cartoons, I'm still a huge Spider-Man fan, so I get it. Mary Jane's a redhead, she's always been a redhead, but at the same time it's people are allowed to adapt and change, because a lot of that stuff is based around a time that, times change, and it's okay for things to change too. It was a thing with oh yeah, I get it. I get why some people might be mad about the whole redhead thing, but it's at the same time, it's who cares? As long as someone does an amazing job, who cares? And it kind of ties in, another similar incident is the whole Iron Fist thing, which in itself, that's a whole other beast, but it kind of fits in the same category. Because even that situation, I get where people are coming from about the whole Danny should be Asian American. I have my own thoughts about the whole situation, but I feel there's no point in really getting into it. But that's a situation where it's because it's always interesting, because it's the different parallels, because one, it's people are so hardcore, they're no, don't change this character, but then there's another side that's no, change this character. It's because it's it's this instance of people being mad because you were too true to the comic book. For example, most recent thing I kind of got hardcore fandom about is Sensei. the fact of the matter is I've talked heavily about it being canceled and everything, how it bothered me and everything, but at the same time, I'm not going to like say fuck Netflix. I'm not going to say something like that. It's like, yeah, I might not agree. I might not like the fact that they did that they canceled the show, but at the same time, like, the fact of the matter is it's a network. And network cancel shows all the time. Shows that I really like. I'm like, oh my god, that sucks. The show was so. It's like, no, like, so yes, I'm upset, but at the same time, like, I mean, and I get it. People on different sides are upset for different reasons. There's obviously like the aspects to the show, like something I never really even thought about, just because it was a cool aspect to the show, but I never really thought of like what it represented for people, because it's like it's a very inclusive show with different characters from different backgrounds, different situations. I didn't never really thought too much about how much that show meant for people in that sense. It's just, to me, I was like, oh, this is a really awesome show that got canceled. And I mean, this isn't always everybody. I feel like in certain situations it's like a minority of people, like the smallest amount of people who are just the loudest, who are just like it's, I mean, granted, the way I hear with this whole Doctor Who situation, it's very split down the middle. Like, I mean, granted, I don't know. I feel like it's 50-50, but maybe in actuality, it's like 90-10. 90 all for it and 10 who are super against it, but they're just super vocal about it. So, you know, I mean, to be fair though, that's kind of the internet. It's always like the people who just kind of scream the loudest are the ones that are kind of hurt more often than not. So I just feel like sometimes people can let their fandom get too ahead of them. So I feel like sometimes we have to take a step back and be like, hey, it's like, okay, realize that things change. We don't always have to, things don't always stay the same. I mean, comic books constantly change and constantly get rebooted. Different people get access to them, and that's, I get it. You're always going to like be like, oh, I prefer this person's work. I mean, that's why I look at the DCEU movies very differently from most people and stuff like that. Yes, you might not like the gritty aspects of like Batman v Superman or Man of Steel, but I appreciated it. I get it. That's not your typical Superman storyline. I thought it was very interesting, like, you know, to take for this one set piece of media to take like a different direction with Superman. Once again, I like Superman. I'm slightly familiar with Superman, but I'm not familiar with every different iteration of him. So I assume like the way people getting pissed off, like Superman is always this static, like 100% savior, good guy. The fact is, I thought Man of Steel and stuff kind of made him flawed and stuff like that, which I thought was kind of interesting. But at the end of the day, this is all just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours. I mean, that is the question for this video. How do you feel about this whole subject of hardcore fandom that I've, like, you know, me talking about it? Like I said, there can be good times for it, but you know, when something happens and people stand behind a show, work to get something to come back. Like a great example is the whole Veronica Mars situation. People kickstarted a Veronica Mars movie because that was people who were fans of the show that were like, yes, 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 yes. And those are situations where something good can come out of like hardcore fandom, but then you take these situations and they're kind of like the whole, like, they're the flip side to hardcore fandom. Like, you know, what is your opinion on this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this video. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good